What if the person you trusted most slowly erased your identity and you didn't even realize it was happening? My name is Melissa Rymer, and for years I lived in a reality where my voice got smaller, my world got narrower, and the woman I once was felt like a distant memory. But here's what I learned on the other side of that darkness. When you lose yourself, you can rise again. And when you rise, your story becomes someone else's roadmap to freedom. Today, I'm a certified recovery coach, a certified divorce coach, and the author of 7 books that can help you no matter where you are in a narcissistic abusive journey. I host a global community of more than 500,000 survivors, and we have millions of views on our reenactment videos on our social media platforms, where individuals can see what narcissistic abuse really looks like. So they stop doubting their reality and they start educating themselves on what is really happening in their lives. I help people reclaim their voice, rebuild their confidence, and restore their lives after narcissistic abuse. But I didn't come to this place from textbooks or from my certifications alone. I come to it because I lived it. I crawled through it, and I rebuilt my life from the ashes of it. Honestly, we are facing a silent epidemic, narcissistic abuse. It doesn't leave bruises you can photograph, although many times it does. It leaves doubt, it leaves confusion, it leaves a person questioning their worth and their reality. Survivors are often met with these questions. Why didn't you just leave? It couldn't have been that bad. Are you sure it wasn't just a bad relationship? I mean, how many of you have heard that? Meanwhile, behind closed doors, people are isolated. Finances are taken and controlled. Children are weaponized, and the entire court system still struggles to understand coercive control for what it is: devastating, life-altering form of abuse. This is the crisis I work to confront every single day. But there was a moment I will never forget. I was sitting in my car, hands gripping the steering wheel, staring at my own reflection in the rearview mirror. I didn't even recognize the woman looking back at me. She looked tired. She looked defeated. She looked hopeless. And she looked like someone who had disappeared inside of her own life. And I whispered out loud, "Where did you go? And when did this happen?" That moment became my turning point. It forced me to confront the truth that emotional abuse, the manipulation, the slow erosion of my own identity had taken a real toll on my spirit, my mind, my body, my life. But in that same moment, something powerful happened. A spark lit inside me, a spark that said, "This is not where your story ends." That part became my recovery. My recovery became my purpose, and my purpose became the movement I now lead, Victim to Warrior Method. So this is what future looks like: a better future. One where survivors aren't dismissed or doubted. They're believed, they're supported, they're empowered. A future where narcissistic abuse is recognized as a public health issue. Coercive control is understood by judges, lawyers, therapists, and schools. Survivors have tools for emotional and financial rebuilding. Children are protected, not used as weapons. And surviving becomes thriving. This is the world I'm working to create. The research is clear. Did you know that 1 in 3 women and 1 in 4 men experience emotional or psychological abuse? And 99% of financial abuse occurs in abusive relationships. Victims suffer compact PTSD, and our legal system lacks the training to recognize it. I've coached thousands of survivors from all over the world. I've watched people rebuild their confidence, reclaim their lives, their independence, and rewrite their identity after abuse. My books, programs, and our podcast, Warrior Talk, provides daily tools that people can use to rise after the experience they thought would break them. But what research tells us is what survivors already know. When you're educated, supported, and empowered, you can transform your life. So here's my call to action. Let's stop treating narcissistic abuse as a relationship issue and start treating it as a public health crisis that it is. Let's require trauma-informed training in our courts. Let's dismantle myths that keep survivors silent. Let's rebuild systems that protect family instead of enabling abusers. Let's give survivors the tools to rebuild their lives and their identity and start believing in themselves again. Imagine a world where survivors don't just survive, they rise. A world where children grow to understand healthy love. A world where institution stands on the side of truth and healing. A world where reclaiming your identity after abuse isn't rare, it's expected, it's supported, and it's celebrated. That's the world I'm fighting for. That's the message I'm ready to bring to the TED stage. Because no matter what someone has lived through, they're not broken, they're becoming. Thank you.